Hi, everybody. I'm here with Brian Sanchez, who is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson City. Good to see you, Brian.
I am so happy to be here with you today, Steve.
You always make me feel so good.
This is what we do, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, we're going to talk about something that's really important. And this is a mistake that's made. We've talked about this kind of around the edges before. First, if you guys are interested in our weight loss program, use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description. And if you're interested in interviews with personal trainers, doctors, nutritionists, subscribe to the channel. So, this is something that's touchy, but I'm a guy who I want to go, go, go. I'm a type A, right? And I'm aggressive, but I've learned to calm myself down. You're getting over an injury, or maybe you've had a really intense workout a couple days ago. Maybe you've had a surgery, which is something that you brought up before we turn this on. Someone who's had a surgery and just thinks they can just go right back into doing what they were doing before because they're an athlete. But especially people who have been athletes and they're older, my brain can still play college football like I did when I was 21 years old. But guess what? My body knows I can't do that. My brain thinks I can, but my body says, ho, 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 don't do that, you moron. So tell us a little bit about, you don't need to name names, but give us some examples of things that you experience with people you are training who maybe have had surgery or whatever.
So I've got, over the last decade, I've had several clients that have had either injuries or surgeries. One gentleman was a double knee replacement, shoulder surgeries, back surgeries, um, or they've had it in the past and they did nothing after they were done with their physical therapy, and they waited a year or two to come to the gym because they were waiting for certain things to feel better. Um, Look, when you have something significant happen to your body, whether it's your lower back, your hip, your knee, your elbow, your shoulder, and you either break it, destroy it, blow it out, have it surgically repaired, this is not something you sprint back to. Think of it this way. These athletes that we see out there, we'll use JJ McCarthy as an example. He's a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, blew out his knee. He didn't get to play football for an entire year. And I can promise you, he had full-time therapy and trainers with him the last year just to get him back on the field. Most nobody has that to get us back to that kind of level. We don't have the money, the ways, the means to even accomplish something like that. Those people are pristine athletes. That's why they can do it. They have full-time people assigned to them to get their body, to get them back into top condition in that year. Guys like us, like me and Steve, or some of my clients who are just great athletes. I have a couple of them that are just incredible athletes. They're go, go, go. If they get hurt, they're going to want to be back at it within a week. You know, guys like me will say, whoa, 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 let's pump those brakes. Let's hang out a second. And here's why. Let's use your shoulder. You get your shoulder done and you get it redone. Your doctor's going to tell you how long they think it is going to recoup that shoulder. Um, Listen to them. Let them guide you. If you try to come back to one of us or one of your coaches and say, hey, I just got the shoulder surgery done, feeling pretty good, got it done about 3 weeks ago, let's roll. We're going to stop you in your tracks. And we're going to say, well, how's your physical therapy going? Oh, well, I haven't started yet. It starts next week. You're not going to train with us. And we're going to ask you to rethink what you're doing and maybe put you on a different program. Now, we might put you on a program that's unrelated to that shoulder. We might be able to do some exercise work, but we cannot attack that situation. And you have to think about it like this. If you've had a significant surgery, it took a long time for it to develop a lot of the times to get to the point where you need like knee replacement, shoulder replacement, elbows. And it's not always from an immediate injury. It takes years for that stuff to deteriorate. And then pretty soon you're in there and you're getting it work. Then you come back to the gym. It's not going to take a week to repair. And you're looking at sometimes in some of these scenarios, especially depending on your age, how you eat, what your lifestyle is. Are you pretty stagnant, or are you truly fit and physical? It's going to, all these elements are going to play into how well you respond and come back based off of that injury and or surgery. It takes time. The good thing about using coaches in those situations is we can set that plan with you. But people like us are going to want to see your physical therapy information, not the personal information you don't want to share with us, but we're going to want to know, what are you doing there? How are they progressing you? What's going on with it? Are you released from physical therapy? If it's something that you didn't go to the doctor for, don't be shocked if your coach says, well, I'm going to need a doctor's release because you told me that your elbow went the other way and you hyperextended it and you can't move it and it's 3 times the size right now. We're going to want you to get that medical release before we bring you back to the gym, because we care more about what's going to happen to that arm than sometimes you do, because in our mindset, we're very positive. We have an affirmative mindset where we want to always move forward. So we got to kind of watch that. So we're here to help slow you down just a little bit. Doesn't mean you can't be fit. Doesn't mean you can't watch what you eat. Doesn't mean you can't exercise. We just have to create a program that's designed for that. Now, on the flip side of that, Steve, when people have had all this done to them and they've had surgery and they've had these things and they had an injury and they got cleared from the physical therapy and they come see us a year or two later, even 6 months later, after all it's said and done, because they're waiting for it to feel better, don't expect to come in sprinting. Because when you have an injury to your body, or something that's gone wrong and it's offset, let's just say it's in your hip or your knee or your shoulder and it's offset your body, well, your brain chooses a path of least resistance. You don't even have control over this. And it's going to move you in a motion, in a pattern that minimizes pain to your body and creates an efficiency that it believes. Your brain's really smart and created an efficiency that might not be the proper motion that you need. So that's going to offset your hips and throw off your spine and throw off your shoulders and throw off your knees, and things are going to move differently. And when you come back to us, we're going to try to put that back together and get you back into your proper ranges of motion. And it's going to hurt. We can't change the pain in the sense of your knee hurts a little bit. We can't change. We're not nerve doctors. We can't change some of that stuff. And you're going to have to learn to make friends with it. Now, this doesn't mean we're going to come in and throw stuff at you so you got stabbing pains in your knees, your elbows, your shoulders, and your hips. But we're going to work the muscularity around that injury in a fashion that is safe, that is proper, that is planned, and that is in accordance with your recovery in that situation, like your injury or your surgery. So be extremely patient with this. And when your doctor says it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks, this is going to take 7 to 8 months, this might take a good year to a year and a half before you're full speed, they're being serious. And we have to understand that you cannot allow yourself to get fooled. In other words, if you have some type of injury and you're feeling pretty good and you're like, oh man, 3 months ago I could do everything. I had that surgery and now I feel great. I got no pain. Don't come in and try to push that bench press 175,000 pounds, or try to do that deadlift 485,000 pounds, or that squat, or start jumping off of boxes after your back surgery without us putting you back into stability, balance, control of the body. You have to get that back first, then we can progress into strength and conditioning. Steve?
And let's talk about, look, we talk a lot about what things that are important to us at our age. I'm in my 60s. So let's talk about, even if you're not injured or you haven't had a surgery, you're not rehabilitating something, you still have to be careful. And I get ripped into this one too. Well, how are you going to make any gains if you're not pushing it hard? Look, if you get a setback, you've had your surgery or whatever, and you get a setback, that's a disaster, because that could push you back a year. And the loss of muscle tissue and balance and flexibility over a year when you're older can be devastating. And it goes the same way, even if you're just exercising. For instance, here's a little tip to know that, hey, maybe I need to back off a little bit. Last week, I was getting into the gym. I was hitting it pretty hard, and my hips on both sides were a little stiff on both sides. Well, that's fatigue. That's not a potential injury. That means I need to recover. I need to rest. I need to let those muscles recover. Now, if it's one side, that's a red flag. One side, if it's one knee or one hip, or that's a red flag. That is a potential that is a potential injury in the making. If you go and you push that, well, my right side feels really good, but not my left side, you're asking for it because your body is telling you that there's a weakness on one side or the other. Now, if it feels the same on both sides, you need to rest, but you need to be extra careful if it's on one side. What are your thoughts on that, Brian?
Well, I like that because you're very aware of your body, um, and it's probably not a bad idea to throw this in addition with that, Steve. You should be taking breaks throughout the year to, even if you don't recognize, because we've learned as athletes or as gym rats, if you will, to work through pain, right? It's not a bad idea to take breaks. Here's a for instance. We just got done, Steve, you know this, with a small competition in the fundraiser that we did. Well, there's a few of us that were involved in that, and it was a weightlifting competition. And so for quite a while before that, I was preparing my body for it, which meant I went back in the old powerlifting roles and did routines similar to that and lifting weights that I probably shouldn't be lifting, and I know. But I didn't hurt myself. I didn't have any pain. But the day that I pushed at that competition, I made sure that I did not touch a weight for a week and a half after that. I just stopped lifting weights. I was down here at the gym, but I pushed nothing. Now, I did do movement work, bands, kettlebells, things like that. I was still active, but I did nothing like I normally do. Why? Because I wanted to make sure my body would recover at the level it needed to so that I didn't injure myself continuing at those levels. It's just an example of how we got to check ourselves before we break something. Steve?
Yeah. If you're new at this, it really helps to have a trainer or a physical therapist who has experience and someone that can work with you and help to learn or understand your body as you go or as you're learning it. If you're new to this, you might not know what is a red flag because of a certain way that your body or a body part feels. It might be a red flag and you don't recognize it because you're new to this. So it does
Right.
help to have a trainer in this situation. And it's, look, as you get over 60, 70, I mean, even over 50, even over 40, or even if you're younger and you're pushing it too hard, it's better to be on the cautious side, in my opinion, or be safe. And that's not in my DNA. I want to just push, 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 go, go, go. I have a tendency to overtrain and do way too much. But that's not the wise way to do it. The best way is to be on the cautious side, be careful and proceed with caution if you're feeling something not right with your body. Brian, your last thoughts.
If you get a surgery, if you have something repaired because of some form of injury, whether it's from the gym or something in life that's happened, especially as we get older, and if you're in the same age groups that Steve and I are, and I would go 15, 20 years younger than us and then come on up, you might get one shot at that recovery. Don't blow it.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you next time. Brian, thanks for being with us.
Good to see everybody. Take care.